Hi, I'm Nicola Cairncross.
Hi, hello, hey, hi.
I'm going to talk to you about success. Yes. Hi everyone, Nicola here, and it's Vzine number 7. Welcome back. I've taken advantage of my friend who is away in England at the moment to sit in her gorgeous little love seat with my back to the olive groves, as you can see, and it really is the most fantastic day here. Yeah, the weather has really taken a turn for the better. It's really weird. I mean, only 2 weeks ago it was absolutely freezing, 7 layers, 2 duvets, the works, but it's now actually really quite warm. As you can see, I'm in my shirt sleeves and it feels like an English summer. This week in the middle section I'm going to be talking to you about your feelings and how you need to fight your feelings because they are killing your success, and I'm going to explain a bit more about that in the middle section. But first of all, I just wanted to tell you a bit more about an exciting thing that I'm doing tomorrow, which is a live webinar called Be Everywhere Online, and it's basically the journey of how we used to turn 2 blog posts into social media content right across the board, and I'm updating it with all the latest stuff about Snapchat, apps, Instagram stories, live video, you name it, I'll be covering it. And if you're watching this after the event, then don't worry, if you come to nicolacairncross.com/BEO, then you will be able to see the replay. So just put that into your browser, nicolacairncross.com/BEO, and you won't miss out. Yes, we went out to a new taverna for dinner with a friend, Stephanie, who's becoming rapidly a firm friend, introduced by who owns this lovely love seat. And Stephanie's a writer, and she's also been telling me about 2 writing groups they hold locally. One is for creative writing, which is where you write a novel or something, a fiction, and one is for memoir writing, which I've already started actually. So over on Swagger and Soul, I've been persuaded to dig out my first bits of my memoirs and publish them over there. The people are asking what's happened to Swagger and Soul. Well, what happened was Sarah decided that she didn't want to blog on that anymore, and she wanted to just blog on her own blog, and she has in fact just put up a new blog post. And so if you head over to raw.com, RAWRR.com, you can see Sarah's latest blog post over there. And I'm going to be starting to blog on swaggerandsoul.com again, because that's the place where I write about the more personal stuff, and I'm feeling a lot better nowadays, so I wanted to just bring that up to date with you know, how I'm feeling now about being out here. There's been some great news that I'm going to put on there, and all of that stuff. So the personal blog is Swagger and Soul, the business blog is nicolacairncross.com/blog. I think that's it for the intro bit this week, so let's crack on with the Fight Your Feelings section, shall we? But first, some local colour from Stupa. So, today I want to talk to you about fighting your feelings and how important that is and why you need to learn how to do it. This is actually my 3rd attempt at doing the talk to camera bit for this VZ, and the reasons that I've failed so far is because, first of all, practical reasons, which led to frustration and annoyance on my part, which was that, I don't know if you can hear, there's a dog that just barks constantly. We think it's whenever he's left alone, or she, could be either. So my first few attempts on Wednesday and Thursday at recording these to camera pieces were thwarted by the intermittent dog barking. And not only that, but when one dog starts around here, it's so quiet, as you can hear the birds probably, all the other dogs get going as well. So you don't notice it most of the time, but when it's all day and into the evening, as this was, you know, you really just can't ignore it, and it really does my head in, it does my concentration in. So I was feeling annoyed, frustrated, upset, worried about the dog, because, you know, obviously it had been left on its own or something. Dogs don't bark for no reason, especially all day and all night. So yeah, I couldn't really get to grips with doing the camera pieces those days, and then I was getting a bit panicky because Phoebe was waiting for them. Luckily she got a last minute video shoot on a modelling assignment, and so that sort of took the pressure off a little bit. She doesn't put pressure on me, I put pressure on myself. Another example of feelings not helping you. And then I tried to do it last night. There was a fantastic sunset on the other side of the house over there. But I was so tired by then because I'd been setting up all the new tech for the new webinar, which is Be Everywhere Online. Basically, I was just too tired. There was no energy coming from me. I couldn't summon up anything inside to... I knew what I wanted to say to you, but I couldn't get the energy together to say it. What I want to do is just talk very briefly about why you've got to get a grip with these things. Sometimes you can't, you know, sometimes things happen. Sometimes you get really bad news or you get a bereavement. I mean, I used to think that I could handle anything. When someone dies who's very close to you, the feelings are just so overwhelming, and I think that possibly there's some sort of chemical reaction going on too, because the feelings are so overwhelming. Whereas normally what happens is feelings come from thoughts, so you are largely in control of your feelings if you can control what's going on up here. And sometimes all the time it takes practice. You know, you can't just become an expert at controlling your thoughts like that. I learnt about it initially from my friend Andy Shaw, who wrote a book called Creating a Bug-Free Mind, and then he wrote a second book which was Using a Bug-Free Mind. Let me tell you, I've read that first one about 8 times so far, and I've only read Using a Bug-Free Mind about twice, because you have to master the first one before you can use the second. He likens it to loading software, great new software, onto a faulty operating system. So I've been trying to sort out my operating system for years now, and I was always controlled by my feelings my whole life. I'm 55 now, and I was controlled by my feelings largely, and I thought that there was no way around that, and then I found out from Andy that there was, that your thoughts control how you feel, so you better be thinking good thoughts. But it's tough, you know, it takes a bit of practice. So we know the why of why you have to get a grip of your feelings, because how you think dictates how you feel, and how you feel dictates how you act. Now, this week I've had a bit of a frustrating week. In fact, we talked about it on the podcast last week, where I was saying about how everything I do, I expect it to be the thing that makes the difference, the thing that sets the world on fire. You know, when your app's released, when your book's released, when your next webinar comes out, when you write a fantastic blog post and you press publish, somewhere inside you, you're expecting that to be the thing that sets the world on fire. And when it doesn't, you can end up a bit disappointed. So if you feel like that sometimes, then you must go and check out last week's episode of the podcast, because episode 120, I think, we talk about business goals and, you know, how to manage your expectations. And what happens is it's an accumulation of all the little actions you take that makes the difference. But your feelings, how you feel in the moment, can stop you taking the action. For example, I was stopped by taking the action of recording the camera pieces for this Vzine on Wednesday and Thursday because the dogs were driving me crazy, and that was affecting how I felt. Theoretically, I could have shut the doors, could have tried to do it inside, but I just didn't feel like it. So that's what I'm saying. So how you think dictates how you feel, which dictates how you act. So this week, a bit disappointing. I haven't had the reaction I wanted to the whole sequence I've set up, inviting people to join my membership site. It's been a slow, steady trickle rather than a flood, which I would have liked, which when you consider I've got a mailing list of 3,500 people, and you know, you could have expected a little bit better of a conversion. I expected a bit better of a conversion. My thoughts expected a bit better of a conversion. So when it was a steady trickle only, I felt disappointed, which then dictates how I act, which is not pushing ahead and doing as much as I would have liked to. But I had a good conversation with Judith on the podcast. She coached me live on episode 120, I think it was. She talked about if thoughts become things, you've got to think good one. Because if your thoughts release chemicals in your brain that dictate how your feelings work, how you feel, And if your feelings dictate what you actually do and what you can achieve and what you take action on, it stands to reason that you've got to keep your thoughts under control. As I say, easier said than done, but well worth working on. Some of the things I use are journaling. I basically write every day in my journal, and that's something that's got to be done away from the computer, I think, because it gives your brain time to process what you're writing at the same time. Whereas if you type at 70 words a minute, as I do, it doesn't give your brain time to process anything. Yeah, journaling's very good. Talking to friends is obviously very good. Having a mentor or a coach or someone who you can run ideas past. For example, one of the things today was, this week for me, was that I realised at the early part of the week that the thing I was trying to give people in terms of my knowledge, I was offering them it in a way that they actually didn't want it. So it's called an offer that converts, and mine wasn't converting. It wasn't converting very well at all. It was converting okay, not brilliant. So I felt down about that, and what that could have done was make me spin off into thinking that my whole business wasn't going to work. Whereas actually all I had to do was talk to my mentor, and he said, look, you know, you're just suffering from an offer that's not converting at the moment, so you've just got to find a way of offering what you give, because you believe that what you've got to give is of value. You've just got to find a way to make it convert, to make people able to accept it, want it, buy it, because if they don't buy it, you can't help them. So it was all about what was going on up here, and my mentor helped me get my head straight, helped me get my thoughts straight, which then helped me get my feelings straight, which then enabled me to go on and create something new, which hopefully will help people to get my help easier. Okay, so on the podcast this week, as I say, we discuss business goals and expectations and how to be a tortoise, not a hare. Not something that comes naturally to me, but something highly recommended by my podcast partner Judith. It's a great episode. She coaches me live in the middle section of that. If you're one of those people who is reluctant to set business goals because you're worried about being disappointed with the outcome, as I am sometimes, then you'll enjoy this episode 120 at ownitthepodcast.com. And last week obviously was the brain picking episode where we talk about how, with the best will in the world, when friends and family want to buy you a coffee or take you out for dinner, how to move them into a paid environment so that your valuable advice is not just given out freely, because we all know that anything is free, people don't value it, and you spend a whole evening in the pub helping someone with their business plan or their marketing plan or whatever, and they don't take a blind bit of notice because they haven't paid for the advice. Okay, so on the blog this week I've been on a bit of a roll because Judith's coaching on the podcast last week made me realise that if you've got something great, you ought to be shouting it from the rooftops. And with the book Mindset, Marketing and Money, I've got 6 fantastic entrepreneurs sharing their biggest tips as well as their personal journeys about how they cope with their mindset, the most successful things they've found about their marketing, and what they're like around their money, whether they're savers, spenders, investors, profligate, spendthrifts, whatever. So the 6 entrepreneurs spill all, and basically I'm then taking those interviews and I'm taking little quotes from them and making them into Instagram posts. So check out Instagram /Nicola Cairncross, that's a Nicola Cairncross. Basically then I'm taking the bit of the story that I've taken the quote from, which is just a tiny part of the interview, and putting that onto Instagram and the blog as well. So loads of good stuff going on the blog. Also we've got a transcript of an old episode of the podcast, which is how do you know when you're flogging a dead horse, which fits this theme that we've got this week about offers that convert, because it might well be that your business is sound, you just haven't found the offer that converts, so it might not be a dead horse and you might not be flogging a dead horse. Yeah, 2 of the sections from the book are My Lawnmower Round Taught Me a Lot About Psychology of Pricing Things by James Soremekun, and how being a teen mum helped Margaret Wright to focus from it all being about her, or me, focus on helping others, and now she's a property multi-millionairess, so that's well worth a read too. Yeah, also on the blog this week is a little video that I made for my hairdresser here in Stupa. You can see that I've got quite a sharp bob on the go at the moment. Basically what I did was I took a tiny little speeded up section of me getting my hair done in the salon and just put a little bit at the beginning and end, and she's absolutely delighted with it, and it makes a really nice little ad for her business. So if you want an ad like that for you, as Phoebe did most of the work on that one, I must confess, then do get in touch with phoebesoremekun.com, because she's doing lots and lots of interesting business to consumer video, and also she can do business to business, which is what this sort of thing is. Have a look at all her different work on the /video-services page. That's it from me. It's Saturday here, so we're off down the village, and it's a glorious day, as I said, so I'm really looking forward to it. Speak to you soon. Bye. Now, if your thoughts, there's another dog now at the back. Right. Let's try again. Oh, God.